This is Tamara on another exciting hunt with Nevada High Ridge Outfitters out of Lovelock, Nevada.
The thing is about this unit, they're in the deer range from the valley floor to the very tip top. So.
The unit we are in for the hunt is located at the northern part of Nevada that borders the state of Oregon. Mostly high-range glassing, accessed by truck or ATV.
Why? And he's heavy. I just can't.
Our first morning we spotted a shooter quite a distance away with several doe.
Like his middle tine on his left side.
Our plan was to wait for the buck to bed down before making a stalk.
So we got her eye a nice buck over here, so we're going to see if he beds down for a while, then we're going to go over and stalk him. He looks pretty good, so he's quite a ways away, but we're going to check him out, give it some time, and see if we get closer.
While we were glassing, the buck was shot by another hunter who was one step ahead of us. As my first day ended, we headed back out the next morning for another stalk on a nice muley. TP's still on this side.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's it.
Any of you hunters who use a GoPro know how difficult at times it can be to film and hunt at the same time. It's not easy. So filming is limited when jumping in and out of a vehicle. After all, you are on a hunt.
Going over that hill.
We started a stalk on a decent 4x4 that took us from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Stalk right now. So we're going to see what happens.
These deer blend right in and can be difficult to spot from time to time when stalking. You can hear how dry the sage is to walk through and how quiet you need to be. The temperatures on this hunt can range from the single digits to the mid-60s. The wind on this hunt was high, 20 to 40 miles per hour. It has been reduced down or eliminated for the purpose of this video. This buck bedded down 300 plus yards away, so we waited behind a large rock pile to keep out of the cold wind, only to see him sneak out a while later. I took a shot and I missed.
Maximus, come here.
You're the best thing I've seen all day. I woofed. I was looking at a totally different place. He was way too far right. Couldn't get on him.
Yeah.
It just did what it just
Hop in front.
wasn't gonna work. I was delirious and malnourished.
Yeah, it was
And I have dirt in my eye. Poor Matthew had to stick his big old finger in there and get it out. And then I fell because I couldn't see. No. Hey, I could see again. I'd be stuck in the fender for my eye. I creeped them out a little bit, but only just put it in there. combination pack. I couldn't get him in my scope because I was looking for him here and then down there, and he was over here. Yeah.
Nobody ever sees them. They all stop.
It was very cold and windy down there. We were freezing.
I bet you were. Way cold up here. Well, right way over here. But
Yeah, that he was.
shot along this.
Yeah. He snuck out. Like I say, he was just behind that depression, and he just snuck right over to where, where we went. So.
Yeah, quite a bit, because I really didn't think he went that fast, because I was like, that's where I was looking, and when he said right, and he was like right, and I'm like, no, I'm going right, more right. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm like, how far right? And then it was just couldn't get on him. Then he got to about that 300 and 400, forget it. I didn't have a good rest. I didn't have a good rest at all. Yeah, we were in this bluff, kind of like getting out of the wind, and once I moved, then I didn't have a good rest. So, that's okay. This type of hunt, your time is mostly riding in a truck, glassing for hours and hours, looking for that mature mule deer. We had several glimpses from afar of Disaster Peak, which is a summit in the U.S. state of Nevada. If you're a hiker, you may want to check it out. There are miles and miles of travelways through the deep canyons, full of elders, willows, and sagebush. From time to time, you will see coyotes and sage grouse blending right into the natural habitat. Through these travelways, you will pass old structures that may at one time had a purpose, and still may. At the end of day 2, we glassed 2 groups of deer approximately 3 miles away.
He's pretty. And then we're going by now.
15 days, he's bumped right back to 40 days.
We spotted a mature buck in that group and decided to get a closer look first thing the next morning. The next morning, we woke up to a beautiful blue sky, but the temps were in the single digits. We drove to a high point, parked, and walked our way down out of the brutal wind and cold temps. Ready? The wind was blowing 35 to 40 miles per hour. Our goal was to use the spotting scope to get a good look at the buck, which was approximately 500 yards away, but the wind made it difficult to get the scope to stay steady enough to make a decision. At this point, after about an hour, and the temps around 25 degrees, we decided to get out of the wind by heading down into the slope below. Now we are below the group of deer, approximately 400 yards down. We decided to go for it, but the bluff couldn't give me a steady rest, nor did the high grasses give me a clear shot. So we had to separate to where my guide Gary and I crawled up the hill ourselves about 30 yards closer to set up for a shot, lying down flat, resting my gun on the ground. I was all set to make the shot, and the buck decided to bed down. But that didn't last long because the group was very restless, and he stood back up, and within seconds, I took my shot.
Oh, he's dead.
When I took the shot, the buck ran to the right about 30 to 40 yards, then back toward the group, where he finally went down. What a brutal stalk. With the high winds and cold temps, I did it with one shot, pure luck, not knowing what the wind would be like where the buck was. We spotted off to the right the group the buck was in, heading out over the next ridge. With my adrenaline running on high, I couldn't wait to get my hands on this beautiful 5x5 with eye guards.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, he's got it. Look. Oh my gosh, you're beautiful. Wow.
This buck had beautiful crowns that made him unique. I couldn't have been any happier.
He's beautiful. Oh my gosh, look at that. He's beautiful.
The outfitter, Gary Coleman, his son and friend,
What are you doing?
who helped guide, were awesome.
Camera?
I didn't expect the temps and the winds to be such a challenge, but with their experience, they knew exactly how to overcome these conditions and made my hunt a huge success.